It's every business owner's dream to hand off certain aspects of their business so they can focus on the parts that they love the most. But when it comes time to finally hand over the reins, new fears and concerns start creeping in. In this week's Hot Seat episode, Kaylee has brought on two new coaches. She wants to keep some clients for herself because, of course, she loves what she does, but she'd love to make more space for other business activities too. Jonathan helps Kaylee manage the fear of clients mass quitting if she transfers them to another coach and figure out exactly where to focus her efforts with her newly freed up time. I'll be back at the end to recommend another episode. Enjoy.
Kaylee, where are you people? We've got so many folks on today, which is great.
I'm
Kaylee, you keep
here.
bumping around. Oh, there you are. Hi. Okay. You were on my left and now you're in my center. Hey, Kaylee, good to see you. It's the same thing. If you can, real quick, just talk about who you are, what you do, and what you want to talk about today, we'll get going.
Ooh, who I am? Well, I'm Kaylee. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. So it's cold. I started training in 2006, kind of in the middle way through my kinesiology degree. So I've just kind of done it since university and never stopped, which has been awesome. I worked for one of like the, big box gyms here, although it was just Alberta based. So it wasn't like massive around the country. But I worked with them starting in 2006 all the way to 2021. So when I finished there, I was a regional director. I oversaw multiple clubs and big groups of trainers and margins and sales quotas and blah, blah, blah. And then that was kind of COVID time. So I was one of those people that had a COVID baby. and
Yep.
So I went on maternity leave. And then kind of halfway through my mat leave, the company went bankrupt and sold ownership. And then, they kind of eliminate top tier management when that happens.
Okay.
So I lost my job and just decided that it was a good time to go online and start my own thing. It got me to be able to stay home a little bit longer with my kids. I had, a small-ish client base because I was still training, even though I was doing like most of the, like upper level management stuff. I still had about 5 hours a week that I actually trained clients. So when I started off my online, I probably had about 10 clients that came on with me and wanted to stay that way. And then just kind of started building my online. I kind of like Forrest, I signed up with a different like business mentorship 2 years ago, and it went really well. Like they took me from $3,000 a month to 15,000. So I can't really say anything bad about them. It was like really cool to learn a little bit more about like running a business, because that's one thing I definitely like. I knew how to run a big gym,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how to run a small business. And I kind of, in the last year, I also started training a little bit more in person because a really cool space in Calgary opened up where I could just pay $500 a month and train clients out of the gym. So it's a nice like 40,000 square foot facility, full gym, gives me access to membership bases, and then allows me to train some clients in person. So
Okay.
I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. So I do online and some in person, which I always run as hybrid, just because then I don't have people saying they're going on vacation and me losing an income.
Yep.
So I run it that way. And so that it's been going really well. I only train in person like 2 to 3 hours a day because I don't want to take up more
Yeah.
time of that. So I run mostly small groups. I have two contract trainers working under me that actually used to be girls that worked for me in the gym. So I've worked multiple years with them as their manager. So
Cool.
that is going really well because I have a good relationship with them. We have a lot of trust, a lot of history, and they're just awesome, amazing people. So I kind of like approach this thing as, there's always something I can improve on. I feel like I've come really far, but I mean, even in the month and a half that I've been in OTM, I've been like mind blown and like what I could change so many things and make so many things better. So I'm just like excited to keep it getting better.
Yeah.
Like that's really, so I feel like I have like really good systems in place. Like I have automation. I just want to like be able to grow and get better.
Mhm.
So like I want like, I think I need more of a following on social media, which is like a big reason why I joined OTM. So I want to be able to get that rolling, get leads coming in, be able to fill up my contract trainers, just continue to like grow the business. Hopefully, like I have about 38 clients of my own, so I don't want any more for myself. I want to be able to have time to work on the business and just make it successful and big
Okay.
and well known and
So what do
help
you
people.
like to do in the business then? Do you like to do kind of the sales part of it? I mean, it sounds like you have great experience with a lot of the aspects of the fitness industry, which is
I
pretty great.
love doing enrollment calls.
Mm-hmm.
So I love doing the sales process. I even love like I love writing content. I love designing the marketing. Like I really love lots about the business. I don't love the accounting. It gives me stress. So I'm gonna hire a bookkeeper. That's about
Yeah, I
the
mean,
only thing I don't
that's
like.
fine. Hire a bookkeeper. That's an easy one. Bookkeeping and accounting is one of those problems that is very easy to
Yeah.
go away once you have money.
Yeah.
So hire a bookkeeper and get them. That's easy. Do that today. And they'll actually automate. A lot of bookkeeping is automated these days anyway. But
Yeah.
especially in Canada, a good bookkeeper and accountant will make you a lot of money because the Canadian Revenue Agency is uh, has their heads up their butts, and if you know somebody who knows how to navigate the system, you'll
The
be able
least
to.
amount of money I can give Trudeau, the better is my
Yeah,
motto.
oh, I mean, just the COA as a whole. So I question the 38 clients that you're working with yourself. Then, if you say that you want to fill up the other coaches, like I'm not saying that this is what you should do. This is me kind of trying to pull out a few things that I heard as you were speaking,
Okay. Yep.
and you can respond to them and tell me if it's accurate or inaccurate.
Okay.
You have two assistant coaches that you trust, that you like.
Yes, they've just started. Like I'm just getting
Okay,
paperwork for them this
got
week.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. So they're relatively new. So that's good
Yeah.
information to know. So maybe not quite yet do this then, but you like doing the enrollment calls. And
Mhm.
I mean, this is a hard thing to get over with us in business because with us in fitness, because a lot of us just love the fitness aspect of it. But like the most important role that any business owner can ever be in is sales.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to do the sales, that's fine. But like sales is the most important role of any business.
Yeah.
And
I
so
would
if
agree.
you do like doing it, that should be a lot of your focus, and less on the delivery. I mean, you're there if you need to be there for the delivery, but
Mhm.
it is far easier to find coaches who are good at coaching than it is to sell coaching.
Yeah. I would agree.
So the first thing that jumped out to me is there a way for you to free up time and space by giving away some of your client load to these assistant coaches? And
So I've considered that
okay.
for sure. Cause like that last business mentorship with um helped a lot with that too. So that's definitely something I need to look at and evaluate. I guess the question I have for you is like so many of those people signed up to train with me. So like I wonder what that conversation could look like if I hand them off to a different coach. Whereas like if like from this moment on I do enrollment calls like the way you guys do where it's like it's understood that they're not necessarily going to train with me but they're going to have a coach
Mm-hmm.
that's going to train them, that's like fine. I'll do that. I won't take on any more new clients myself. I just wonder how that conversation could go with my existing clients, that they're not like, well, if I don't train with you I don't want to train with anyone.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So there's a few ways that I usually respond to that concern. The first is to question whether that worry is a fact, an opinion, or a guess. We call it the fog filter.
Okay.
Are people actually going to think that? Is that a fact? Or is it a guess, right? Like is that your own lizard brain kind of because our brains are always making us worry about things that we shouldn't worry about, taking us to worst case scenarios. Is that actually what's happening? Or are people actually going to think that? And I don't know the answer.
Mhm.
What I do know is that we don't have data to figure out the answer. And
Okay.
so we can't be sure of either one. Okay. So the second part of that decision-making matrix then for me is, if the worst case scenario happens, how many people do you think are going to say, I'm done, I'm not working with you anymore, cancel my contract? And
Oh, maybe 3.
so, and so that's the con, right? Like imagine that the worst case scenario is going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. So let's say it is going to be 3. So out of the 38 people that you work with, 3 of them are going to say cancel my contract. How much money is that? Let's say you have to refund them the remaining bits, right? How much money is that worth? I don't know the answer to that. You don't need to know the answer to that, but it's worth looking at, because when you
Mhm.
actually make sense of this problem and you think about, okay, well, at the same time, now I can be much more present on social media. Now I can build up an audience there. Now I can show up. I know you mentioned on your application that you wanted to do more podcasts and things. Now you can show up on podcasts more. Podcasts are
Mhm.
sales calls.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. Like a podcast is basically a sales call. And it is a fantastic tool for people getting to know you. And then if you can leverage that and use that as part of your marketing on your social media, ooh, man, that's gasoline on the fire.
Okay.
And so you have that energy then for social media, and then you're showing up, you're able to show up on the greater influx of sales calls. How much
Yeah.
more will your company make? And will that more than account for the worst case scenario loss?
Yeah. Oh, for sure it will. What do you think like the ideal, because I still want to train some people because it is like my passion. I love doing it.
For sure. For sure.
Like what do you think like the ideal amount of like hours I should devote to training be then? Or is that something I have to evaluate myself? Because like I feel
No. Does anybody else have, I'd love to know if anybody else has any insight into this. I'm pretty far removed from it, so it's hard for me to jump in on this.
I'll kind of tell you like with the 38 clients I have, I
Yeah.
probably spend about 20 hours a week of my total time servicing those clients between like my in-person sessions, my programming, my online follow-up, everything. Right? I could like, so I
How do
have
you
like, it's
split that time up?
well, so I have like like I said, 2 sessions a day is going to be in person. So 10
Yeah.
hours of that's actually training in person. I have like, following up on some programs. I template all my programs so I can spit out a program in under 10 minutes for my people and then they'll do it for a month. Right? So like that the online part, my online clients, maybe one online client, I maybe spend less than an hour a month on that one person for the
Mhm.
entirety of it, right? And it's getting better now that I've like incorporated some of the like signature program and the Facebook group and like running things that way. I've like saved even more time with
Yeah.
my online people. So it's really just my in-person and those are capped anyways. So I really feel like,
And does that
I like,
energize you? Like, do you wake up and you're excited to do those?
yeah,
Yeah.
I love them,
So it sounds to
but
me
they're
that,
limited. Yeah.
well, it sounds to me that that's what you do then. And then the other bits are the parts that you can give away.
Yeah. Okay. But I think leveraging time is huge for sure and just figuring out where I can pull more
Leveraging
time.
time and and creative energies as well.
Mhm.
I think there's so much power in being the face of the business and having the energy and the creative energy to do things like show up and be proactive, right? On, hey, I love this podcast. I'm going to actually pitch myself as a guest.
Mhm.
and
Okay.
sell yourself to them. I mean, there's some people are going to say no, but some are going to say yes. And then using that and turning that into content and sales on your social media, and then being the person who, I mean, nobody's going to sell your thing better than you are.
Yeah.
You'll probably get to the point where if you decide that you want to grow more, I mean, again, it has to do with your aspirations, similar to what we spoke about before, but you might get to the point where you just can't do all the sales calls yourself, or you don't want to anymore, and you bring on another person to the sales. But nobody is going to convert a sales call as well as you do. Like if I did the sales call for the online trainer mentorship, I would convert sales calls better than our sales team, and they're way better technically at sales than I am. It's just
Mhm.
that's just how it works. But you kind
Yeah.
of accept this. What's the line there? 80%. 80% done good by somebody else is better than 100% done well by you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Makes sense.
so I think that's where you show up. I mean, if the in-person is really energizing to you and you love it, let that fill your cup.
Mhm.
Don't take that away. But you certainly don't need to do all the other bits. You can take that time and you can be on podcasts and
Yeah.
um, put that into social.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I dig it. I dig it. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kelly.
you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Amber again, thanks for listening in. This episode was from a group call from Jonathan's online trainer mentorship, where we host hot seats every 2 weeks. The mentorship is where we take anyone doing from $1,000 to $20,000 a month or more and help them scale up. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in learning more about, please DM the word mentor to Jonathan on Instagram at It's Coach Goodman. If you're looking for another episode to listen to right now, I'd recommend episode 40, Fixing the Holes in a Successful Online Coaching Company. A successful online coaching business needs more than great programming. It needs well thought out experiences that your clients love. In this episode, you'll learn the one feeling you want to prevent your clients from feeling, how to better check in with your clients, and how to actually get them to refer new clients to you without having to bribe them. Again, that's episode 40, Fixing the Holes in a Successful Online Coaching Company. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next week.